Hey viewers and friends, it's me, Andrew, back again for another horror update. Picked up a pretty cool stack of stuff, a lot of slashers, so I'm just going to show you guys what I picked up. The first title is The Mist. This is a fantastic Stephen King adaptation. It's a monster movie. I love the atmosphere, really good cast of characters and pretty interesting storyline, and I found the ending really fascinating. I've yet to sit down and watch it on Blu-ray, but I wanted to pick this up on Blu-ray. It's the 2-disc set, pretty much exclusively for the black and white version. I've heard a lot of good things about the black and white version, so I'm going to be checking that one out at some point. But yeah, if you haven't checked this one out, I'd recommend doing so. I really enjoyed it. Next is one that I've never heard anyone talk about, and I'm pretty proud to be showing it in one of my updates. It was a blind buy, and it paid off. I really enjoyed it, and it's Blood Night, The Legend of Mary Hatchet. This is a slasher film from 2008, and as far as modern slashers go, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's fantastically awesome or anything, but it was really good. I enjoyed it, and it's overall a really solid slasher. I loved the beginning of the film. It reminded me a lot of the original Halloween, and the last 30 to 20 minutes of the film was really good as well. It had a good overall build up to the end of the film with an interesting plot twist. The middle of the film wasn't too crash hot. It was pretty cheesy and pretty corny and pretty much had every slasher cliche under the sun in it. Great kills, really good kills, plenty of gore, plenty of blood. Some of the gore effects were really good, others were pretty cheesy, but overall, if you're looking for a new modern slasher to add to the collection, track this one down. Next up, we have a film that I'm sure most of you have seen, and that's My Bloody Valentine. I love this film. It's my second favourite slasher of all time and my favourite slasher film from the 80s. I'm really pissed off they didn't do more sequels to this film and turn it into an overall franchise. Personally, I would have rather had this be a franchise than Friday the 13th. I love this character. I love Harry Warden. The whole miner outfit and the pickaxe is awesome to me. Love it. I watched the uncut version on the Blu-ray, which is the best version to watch in my opinion. It had all the deleted kills in it. Brutal kills. Loved them. Not going to give any of them away in case you haven't seen it, but yeah, great kills and some really good special features. I love the documentary Bloodlust, My Bloody Valentine and the Rise of the Slasher film. It had an interesting in-depth look at the slasher genre and the films overall, and definitely one of the best film documentaries I've seen. So amazing film, definitely my pick of this update. Loved it. The next one got recommended to me from the Text Tube guy, and Justin really likes it as well, and it's the 1980s Cheesefest Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I had so much fun with this film. I pretty much got everything out of the film I was hoping to. 80s cheese at its best, just really fun, light-hearted watch. Love the Killer Klowns, love the guns that shot out the popcorn, just had a lot of fun with this one. The next one is a piece of garbage. I do not recommend it. I want to throw it off a 20-foot building, jump on it, smash it up with a hammer and burn it. And it's Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This was absolutely fucking terrible. It basically blends a documentary film crew filming a slasher character, and then it blends in the slasher character actually in a movie, and it's just a complete mess. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a mess. I didn't care at all for the storyline. In fact, I barely got through the entire movie. The characters were pretty average at best. Two standouts were Zelda Rubinstein from Poltergeist and Robert Englund from A Nightmare on Elm Street series. He was the standout for me. He basically played the equivalent character to Dr. Loomis from Halloween, but don't pick this one up. It's really pretty bad. The next one is The Hills Run Red. This is a great modern slasher, really good kills, and I was really impressed with the gore effects in this. I thought they were done really, really well. Basically, it follows a group of young adults. They're trying to track down an old horror movie from the 80s that got banned. They turn up on location where the film was shot and everything, and they turn into the stars of the movie for real, and they're stalked by this character, Babyface, as you can see on the cover. Really cool slasher character. He, to me, is the sort of modern equivalent to Leatherface, I guess you could say, and I really hope they do some more sequels to this movie because he's a pretty cool slasher character. Really, really enjoyed this one. The next one is Satan's Little Helper. This film I really, really enjoyed. It's by no means an excellent horror film, but if you're looking for something light-hearted and fun to add to the collection, I'd recommend picking this one up. It reminded me a lot of the early 90s sort of kid horror stuff that was around, like Goosebumps, Tales from the Campfire, Erie, Indiana, that sort of thing. It had that vibe to it. Basically, it was about a young boy called Dougie who's obsessed with a video game called Satan's Little Helper. He dresses up as the little helper on Halloween night. It's centered around Halloween night, and it captures the theme really, really well, I thought. And anyway, he's out wandering the streets and he comes across someone dressed up as Satan, who's an actual serial killer, but he thinks that it's the character from the main game, and he becomes his sort of sidekick and helps Satan out. It could have done with a lot more gore. A lot of the acting was sort of average. The mum was a complete dumbass, but other than that, I had a lot of fun with this movie and thought it was pretty good. The next one I definitely recommend, but a lot of people have probably already seen it and own it, and that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. This is a fantastic prequel and a lead up to how Thomas Stewart became Leatherface. I think they could have done a better job with the backstory, and it's something that a lot of horror remakes seem to struggle with. Rob Zombie's Halloween is the only one that's really nailed the backstory, in my opinion, but the backstory sort of showed in photograph form, which was okay, but I would have rather had him actually growing up and stuff. But yeah, it follows the meat abattoir worker Thomas Stewart and how he turns into Leatherface and how the family become cannibals, basically. Leatherface wasn't the standout of the film so much. It was definitely Uncle Hoyt, who I thought did a fantastic job, awesome character. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. It had that real gritty and grimy feel to it, and yeah, it really made me feel pretty uncomfortable. And the last pickup is another one that I've never really heard mentioned before, but I highly recommend it. It's great, and that's the 1970s Tourist Trap. This just shows how a low-budget horror film can turn out if done right. It's a slasher flick, but it's more of there's more of a supernatural theme behind it. It's got similarities to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho in there. It's basically centers around a group of young adults who break down and they're rescued by a owner of a wax museum. There's mannequins involved. But yeah, if you haven't checked this one out, I'd highly recommend checking out Tourist Trap. Really, really good. And that's it for this update. I hope you guys enjoyed what I picked up. As always, I appreciate you rating and commenting, so let me know what you think of the movies, and thanks a lot for watching.